In recent years, the LIDL Trek team has gone from being one that picked up old cycling legends such as Alberto Contador and Vincenzo Nibali to becoming one of the best teams in the peloton, with 42 victories during the 2024 season and up to 13 victories in this season, which has not yet finished its first half. Today, we'll tell you the story of their two magic doctors and their pills. But first, don't forget to follow me on my X account, @UncleCycling, for more cycling content, and also on my soccer channel, Failed Sharks, for even more videos. And now, let's get started. Brent Copeland, general manager of the Jayco Alula team, told me one day, "Uncle Cycling, do you know what the first thing I did when I took over as manager of the Australian team was? I fired the favourite doctor of the team's star cyclist, Simon Yates." And I replied, "But why?" To which he then said, "Uncle Cycling, I didn't like what I saw at all." And so I started investigating this doctor, and he was, of course, Spanish. Manuel Rodriguez Alonso, a doctor who's been in professional cycling for over 25 years. And what's more, he had collaborated with another doctor from the same region, the veteran Benjamin Fernandez. But that wasn't the best part. Now, both have been part of the official staff of the LIDL Trek team for several seasons, since a time when, coincidentally, the team has improved greatly in its overall performance and that of its top cyclists, men such as Pedersen himself, or the Belgian Thibaut Nice, and the Italian sprinter Jonathan Milan. They are among the best in the world, both individually and in the popular team time trials, where LIDL show incredible potential. What could Brent Copeland have seen to cancel the contract of a doctor like Rodriguez Alonso, who'd been with Green Edge for so long? And so I decided to find out more about his career. Rodriguez Alonso trained in sports medicine at the Regional Sports Medicine Unit of Asturias. This institution, funded by the government of the Principality of Asturias and the City Council of Aviles, was a key point in his entry into elite cycling. Its director was none other than Dr. Nicolas Terrados, doctor to Spanish sports superstars such as the basketball player Pau Gasol and the footballers of Sevilla FC, and he's well known in cycling circles for having been the doctor of the Once team arrested by the French gendarmerie during the Festina affair in the 1998 Tour de France, after the confession of Swiss cyclist Alex Züller, the same man who, after suffering certain rectal intrusions, claimed that there was also organized doping in the Spanish Once team. And although Dr. Terrados was able to walk away unscathed, his name could no longer be associated with cycling. I don't know if it was the legendary director Manolo Saez who pushed, or Terrados himself who resigned, but nevertheless Once continued to rely on doctors from his circle of trust to remain one of the best teams in the world, and so to this end they signed Manuel Rodriguez Alonso in the 1999 season. There were great results following, reviving cyclists such as Abraham Alano in his final years as a professional, and Rodriguez Alonso then attracted the interest of Giorgio Squinzi's Mape team, and according to legend, thanks to his back treatments, he helped the Spanish sprinter Oscar Freire win his second world championship in Lisbon in 2001, all thanks to the healing hands of the Asturian doctor. And despite doping scandals within the team, such as Stefano Gazzelli's positive test for probenecid in the 2002 Giro d'Italia, no link between Rodriguez and doping could ever be proven, and so he continued to train cyclists in Patrick Lefevere's new structure, Quick Step, during the 2003 and 2004 seasons. He managed to train legendary dopers such as Johan Museo, Richard Virenque, and Michael Rogers, among other lucky chaps. After finishing his contract and after years surrounded by controversy in the sport of canoeing, Rodriguez signed with the Orica team and immediately became friends with Simon Yates, a man for whom he was unable to prescribe a TUE for terbutaline in time for the 2016 season, resulting in a suspension for the British rider. Even so, he achieved successes, such as a Vuelta a España with Yates himself and the legendary 2016 Paris-Roubaix, the same year that Simon tested positive. That was with Matthew Hayman, the cyclist who won a cycling monument while training at home with Zwift. Now, after his contract with Copeland ended, he ended up at LIDL. But that is not his only job. He also works as a professor at the prestigious University of Oviedo, and he directs a high-performance centre in Asturias, and he collaborates with Spanish amateur teams such as Cortizo and the professional teams such as Burgos BH, where Rodriguez Alonso collaborates with his classic magic pill boxes, like the one we saw with former motorcycle racer and now LIDL development cyclist Alex Esparrajo. These pill boxes contain magical cocktails created by the doctor, but they are completely legal. It would be impossible to accuse someone who's been in the sport for 25 years and has always been clean and clear of doping. And nor would we do so with his colleague and teammate and university classmate, Benjamin Fernandez. Now, this other doctor is also a disciple of the legendary Nicolas Terrados, and he has performed so many miracles for Spanish sport. But unlike his friend Rodriguez, he triumphed much earlier than him in cycling thanks to his stints with the Class team. Yes, the legendary team of Swiss Tony Rominger, the popular cyclist and one-time client of Dr. Michele Ferrari. Class was an Asturian team, but when it merged with Mape in 1994, Benjamin Fernandez stayed on until Rominger left the structure in 1996, the year in which, coincidentally, Michele Ferrari was chosen, according to doping doctor Luis Garcia del Moral, as doctor for the Spanish track cycling team for the Atlanta Olympics. Also coincidentally, Dr. Rodriguez Alonso was part of the Spanish committee. Now, in 2001, Benjamin, as doctor for the Spanish Ski Federation, had to testify about the positive doping tests of Spanish skier Johan Müller, who won 2 Olympic gold medals while doped to the eyeballs. Now, Benji told the court, Müller doesn't have a doctor. At the most, I treat him for injuries, but I haven't worked with him for, 2 years. Another acquittal allowed him to find another place in another Spanish federation, this time in canoeing, alongside his friend Rodriguez Alonso. Now there, Benjamin Fernandez was chosen thanks to his renowned knowledge as an anti-doping officer. That was in 2004. But his former friend and client, Tony Rominger, was unable to stop his client, Patrick Sienkiewicz, in 2009 when the cyclist, caught doping, went so far as to claim that Dr. Rodriguez Alonso, together with Dr. Ivan van Mool, had carried out doping practices on him. Of course, these malicious accusations were completely false, or at least they could not be proven. And as a result, the careers of these anti-doping geniuses have continued for decades. Now, many will wonder what doctors who shared space with Michele Ferrari are doing as part of the official staff of a World Tour team in this day and age, and why they have multiple jobs earning huge amounts of money. The fact is, they are clearly 2 geniuses who, without doping, were able to make cyclists fly, unlike those other doctors with whom they shared space, such as Pedro Celaya or Ferrari himself, who had to resort to dirty, unsportsmanlike practices. Or at least that's what Selfie Lapation thinks. And when all's said and done, we can always rely on Giulio Ciccone to introduce the rest of the squad to the doper, Yannick Sinner.